So, we were asked to share our stories of our encounters with racism. However, I could not recall any examples. So, I decided I would talk about examples of equality that I have seen. One of those examples would be the group of friends that I have at school. There is one black person, one person of Asian descent, and one white person. I was asked what I thought about that, and I said that there was nothing out of the ordinary. It just makes sense that it does not matter what color skin or ethnic background we have. We stick together in school because we like each other. Finally, we had to connect our examples to a Bible verse. I chose Matthew 22, verse 39. It states, "And the second is like unto it, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself." I think that this applies to my situation because my friends and I respect and love each other, regardless of what we look like.
At a young age, I started at Trenton Children's Chorus. There was so much diversity there, and it was a great place to be making music and friends because everyone treats you like family. Growing up with everyone taught me that everyone has their differences, but that's what brings them closer together. At the end of the day, we are all just human. One verse I think relates well with this is, "There is no partiality with God." This means that God won't see people by the color of their skin, but by the good in their hearts.
Hello, my name is Kellen Fisher, and I'm here to share an experience of racism in my life. One experience of racism that I can bring to mind is when these two students in my school were going around calling kids that weren't white less than because, well, they weren't white. Well, I knew this wasn't right in my mind because it doesn't matter if you were white or not because we're all the same. We're all human. But whenever someone tried to tell this to these kids, they would consistently say that they were better because they were white. And they would just say, go back to where you came from, or other slurs that I'm not comfortable saying. Now, as I go back to think about this, it reminds me of a Bible verse that is from the Acts of the Apostles. This verse is, "Then Peter began to speak. I now realize how true it is that God does not show favoritism, but accepts from every nation the one who fears him and does what's right." This connects to what I've experienced because it shows that it doesn't matter who you are or where you come from, but in the eyes of God, as long as you do the right thing, and as long as you live life correctly or positively, then you're all the same to him. And that's what really should matter, not what this color of your skin looks like.
Hello, my name is Evan, and I'm currently a junior in high school. Before I talk about my thoughts and experience with racism, I'd like to start off with a Bible verse. My verse comes from the book of Matthew, chapter 18, verses 12 to 14. What do you think? If a man owns 100 sheep and one of them wanders away, will he not leave the 99 on the hill and go look for the one that wandered off? And if he finds it, truly I tell you, he is happier about that one sheep than about the 99 that did not wander off. In the same way, your Father in heaven is not willing that any of these little ones should perish. I currently go to a private school, and there are many things I truly do like about it, but there is one thing that I do not like about my school. That is, my school has a problem with race. One incident that sticks out is one day, a white student in my school decided to say some really racist things online about a black student at another school. This was brought up with my school's administration, and they assembled us all in the auditorium to talk about this incident. They basically said it's not okay to be racist online because it will affect your cyber footprint, and didn't really address about being racist in general. This bothered me because if it was me, I'll be hurt and really upset to hear these things said to me. It is not okay to be racist, whether that be online or in person. In the future, I hope racism is not a thing that we have to deal with on a daily basis. Like the sheep in the parable I just read, minority groups are strayed from the rest of the country. And America as a whole should focus its time and energy on helping these groups to become equal and live with the ideals that America was founded on. Once we can achieve that, I believe the world will be a safer place.
Our brown skin, soft to the touch, glowing like royal diamonds. The homeland we came from, filled with the abundance of gold and rich soil. A monarchy filled with black kings and queens. We were deceived into thinking we came from nothing but dirt, living in small boxes, surrounded by four walls. Is the reality of being black in America. Living our life knowing it is ran by the systems and controls of the everyday privileged white male. Knowing you fit the description because every black person looks identical. Getting pulled over by the police, worrying if you'll ever see your family again. An embedded expectation of poverty based off of skin color. Who are we? Face it, know it. We are Breonna Taylor. We are George Floyd. We are Ahmaud Arbery. They are our kin. They are our mothers, fathers, sisters, and brothers. Too often, young black boys and girls live in fear of losing their family members. We as blacks were always taught the way we were treated has been acceptable and is acceptable. We as blacks need to fight for the rights we deserve. We as blacks need to stand with minorities in solidarity. We as blacks need to lead for change with our allies. We as blacks need and deserve equal justice. At the end of the day, we all have a dream that has not been fulfilled. The dream that all present and future generations live in a society that is not based off of religion or race. Once our suppressors realize the wounds endured by our ancestors, we can move forward to that dream. Our dream is not just a dream. Our dream is the hope for the future and the fight of our ancestors. As best stated by the late, great Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., the hope, aspiration that one day we will be free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, we are free at last.